Doreen 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is the
Dr. Doreen is an expert in autism.
Doreen 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Dr. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Dr. Doreen 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Dr. Doreen 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is a visionary in the field of autism. Now you can ask her questions on Ask Dr. Doreen.
And along the same line, Lori has written in and said, my son, who is 5 years old, keeps talking about poop. We ignore it and it goes away, but it's right back at it.
Yeah. And it's hard because sometimes with our kids, it's very hard to explain to them the concept of a subject that is appropriate or not appropriate. We did write a lesson for this. I just don't know if, you have to be at a certain level where you understand enough language to be able to actually recognize the words appropriate. The lesson that we wrote was actually had to do with levels of relationships. So in other words, there are certain things, and you can do this visually too. So there are certain things, like you draw a bubble and you have like your immediate family, let's say mom and dad. And then what are some things you can say with mom and dad and maybe siblings? And then you have a bigger circle, which is like people I know at school or friends. What are some things you can say to them as an example? And then you make a bigger one, which is like teachers and adults that you barely know. And what are some things? And through that sequence, we began teaching the idea of, levels of relationships and what is appropriate to each level. But this is a pretty advanced concept. So depending on if this is too complex for your child, then it won't work, right? And then you basically just have to teach the child other more appropriate statements. And as Christina had also said, try not to give attention to the conversation about poop. And, the good thing is it does go away. And I'm not sure, maybe there's something in his environment that he's hearing that brings it back.
Well, I mean, I used to be a stand-up comedian, and there's a thing in stand-up comedy that, when all else fails, there are certain subjects and certain words that you go to. There's a whole thing among comics that they're like, well, when all else fails, you drop an F-bomb because it gets a reaction, right? And when you're a 5-year-old and people, you want to get people's reaction. Well, if you say poop, people turn around. People in line at the bank turn around, people in the grocery store, your teacher, your friends. And if you don't know why that is, it's the equivalent of an F-bomb.
Absolutely. And, the hard part, Shannon, is that our kids don't experience embarrassment as early as they probably should, neurodevelopment mentally. So they say these words and they kind of enjoy the negative, even if it's negative attention, even if someone turns around and gives them a dirty look, they don't necessarily recognize that and will just think, oh, wow, I got attention right now. So it is a very hard one. And we've had that multiple times. These phrases are difficult to replace. And oftentimes, honestly, just changing the conversation, going on to some other conversation is probably the best way to go.
I absolutely love it. If you found anything helpful in this video, please give us a like. In fact, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a like on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram for important updates. And please download our free podcast wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here. Don't forget, you can watch Ask Dr. Doreen live every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time on autismnetwork.com. We hope to see you there.